This hour with Fox News alert on Americans in the battlefield. U.S. Central Command confirms that 3 American service members have died in action, and 5 others are seriously wounded as part of Operation Epic Fury. We do not know where those casualties occurred. However, we do know that U.S. bases in Iraq have come under attack by Islamic militia now. Those militia that are aligned with Iran. Those are the ones that they fund and purpose at their will, that regime. The president launched the major offensive against Iran's terrorist regime early yesterday morning. Israel today continues to go after strategic sites deep inside Iran, dubbing its military offensive Operation Roaring Lion. This is a special Sunday edition of the Faulkner Focus. I'm Harris Faulkner. Those are U.S. missiles launched in the opening phase of the operation. Israeli officials confirm strikes have killed more than 40 senior Iranian commanders since the operations began, which includes the top Revolutionary Guard leadership and Iran's defense minister. A huge development now, coming together in just the last bit. Iranian state media confirming Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed. Now, we knew that yesterday. Fox confirmed, the president talked about it, and now wide media. And Fox can also confirm that the CIA provided Israel with the intelligence to conduct that strike on Khamenei's compound. President Trump is calling it justice for the people of Iran. And speaking to one outlet this morning, the president said the nation's potential new leadership, quote, want to talk, and I have agreed to talk. So I will be talking to them. They should have done it sooner. They should have given what was very practical and easy to do sooner. They waited too long. End of quote from President Trump. Iran's exiled crown prince shared his thoughts on the future of his country.
There's no question that this is the game changer we've been waiting for all this time. This is like full decapitation of the regime, and ultimately what will expedite its total collapse. The Iranian people has suffered too much to settle for anything less than that.
Well, while Iran's leadership is calling for revenge, citizens are in the streets, really all over the world, wherever they live, including the United States. You're taking a look now. This is Berlin, Germany. Streets are cheering the killings of the top regime officials who have been oppressors of the people for decades. The regime projecting strength while citizens have toiled under miserable economic conditions and political and social repression and death. You know about all those protesters just in the last few weeks. An estimated 30,000 people targeted by their own government. That government now, big pieces of it are gone. We have Fox team coverage. Lieutenant Colonel Darren Gobb is coming up in focus. And Trey Yingst is on the ground in Tel Aviv, where air defenses continue to intercept Iranian missiles. Let's begin with Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin in Washington. Jennifer.
Harris, as you mentioned, CENTCOM has confirmed that 3 American service members were killed and 5 were seriously wounded in a missile strike. We're told other Americans sustained shrapnel injuries and suffered concussions. These are the first casualties of the war the U.S. and Israel have launched against Iran. CENTCOM would not say which U.S. base the missile strike targeted, while family notifications continue. We also can now report that 4 B-2 bombers flew from their home base of Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri on a round trip to Iran and are now safely home. A senior U.S. defense official told me they dropped dozens of 2,000-pound penetrator bombs on Iranian ballistic missile sites that are hidden underground. The Iranians have mobile missile launchers that can be rolled out of caves and then pushed back into a protective bunker. They may have fewer of those launchers today, however. The Iranian strategy seems to be to escalate to de-escalate. The Iranians have fired 135 missiles and 209 drones at UAE, 66 missiles at Qatar, and 45 at Bahrain, along with 9 drones. Hotels and civilian apartment buildings are being hit by Iranian missiles and drones in neighboring Gulf states. Missiles have been fired at a U.S. military base in Erbil, likely by Shia militias in Iraq, who have long been funded by Iran. A mob tried to storm the U.S. embassy in Baghdad, and Pakistani security forces used batons and live fire to push back an angry crowd threatening the U.S. consulate in Karachi, Pakistan. Both Iraq and Pakistan have large Shia Muslim populations. And British Defense Secretary John Healey said 2 missiles had been fired toward Cyprus, where the British Army has service members stationed. It's the first time Cyprus has ever been targeted by Iranian ballistic missiles, likely fired from Tabriz in western Iran. There are reports that the Iranians have reached out to Oman saying they are willing to talk. President Trump, as you just mentioned, just told The Atlantic that the Iranians have reached out and want to talk, and he is willing to talk to them. Israel's defense minister announced that Israel is now using stand-in weapons over Tehran and will now have 24/7 presence in the skies above Tehran. That means that they and the U.S. military have effectively suppressed the air defense systems over Tehran, a huge step forward in terms of being able to track the movements of Iranian leaders and forces. We reported yesterday that the start of the joint operation had to be moved up based on intelligence and this target of opportunity, the meeting at Khamenei's compound. Fox has now confirmed the intelligence for that strike came from the CIA, who passed it to the Israelis. The New York Times was the first to report this. The man to watch is Ali Larijani, the head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. He has moved into the top position in Iran. He just gave an interview in which he threatened revenge for the killing of the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. Quote, "The United States and the Zionists have burned the heart of the Iranian people, and we will burn their hearts." Now it seems both sides want to talk. Not clear if that means there will be regime change in the end, if there is a new supreme leader and Ali Larijani keeps the reins of power. He was one of the main members of the Iranian leadership, Harris, ordering the vicious killing of thousands of Iranian protesters just weeks ago. Harris.
Jennifer, thank you very much for getting us started. The conflict is having major impacts across the Middle East. You'll hear more and more about that during the Faulkner Focus today. Iran has launched waves of missiles and drones into Israel and United States military bases and some civilian areas in the region. And we were told to expect some of that. What is an oddity, though, is that they are hitting Qatar, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates hard. Nations with at least relationships with Iran, if not some actual supporters in some cases. U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet headquarters in Bahrain was hit by an Iranian strike. And President Trump is warning what is left of Iran's leadership to stop this, stop the retaliation. Here's what he posted. Iran just stated that they are going to hit very hard today, harder than they have ever hit before. They better not do that. However, because if they do, we will hit them with a force that has never been seen before! Exclamation point from the commander-in-chief. And this is Israel. You hear the sirens sounding repeatedly as Iranian projectiles are flying toward population centers there. The top level of that country's vast air defenses working to intercept the barrage. Still, an Iranian ballistic missile struck west of Jerusalem, killed 9 people, injured nearly 50 others, including children. An Israeli military spokesperson says Israel has called up 100,000 reserve soldiers. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yinks is in Tel Aviv with the latest on this. Trey, it is nightfall there now, and sometimes we can see things tick up, although a lot of this has been playing out in the daytime. What is the latest?
Yeah, Harris, good afternoon. Throughout the day, we've watched as Iranian ballistic missiles soared through the skies of Israel, many of them intercepted by Israel's advanced air defense systems. But just outside of Jerusalem, one of those missiles slamming into a heavily populated area, killing at least 9 people, according to first responders. You can see crews here digging through the rubble, trying to put out the flames. Just a horrific scene. Tonight, Israel's prime minister addressing his country and the world, saying this.
Our forces are acting now in the heart of Tehran with increasing intensity, and it will only increase further in the coming days. And yet, these are painful days. Yesterday here in Tel Aviv, and now in Beit Shemesh, we lost dear people. My heart goes out to the families, and on behalf of all of you, citizens of Israel, I send strength to the wounded.
As the Israelis are continuing their airstrikes tonight against the Iranian regime, we know some protesters in Iran have taken to the streets. They are celebrating following this operation that was launched by President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that led to Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, being taken out. There were some small pockets of Iranians chanting "Death to America" in other locations. We're also hearing tonight from Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian, one of the few Iranian leaders still alive.
America and Israel should be aware that this will bring them nothing but shame. Our great nation, who are now mourning this great martyr, must foil the enemy's evil plans by being present in mosques and on the streets.
We also have some new video from the Israelis showing strikes earlier today in the Iranian capital of Tehran. I'm told by a senior Israeli security official that these strikes were taking out a building that the IRGC used to crack down on protesters earlier this year when President Trump says 32,000 civilians were killed. Now, Harris, I just got a message from a senior White House official who tells Fox News President Trump said new potential leadership in Iran has indicated they want to talk, and eventually he will talk. For now, Operation Epic Fury continues unabated. Harris?
And what are you hearing from leadership there in Israel about, kind of the ramp up against Tehran at this point, specifically that?
I spoke with a number of Israeli officials today who indicate that they are speaking hourly with American counterparts to prepare for this to be a prolonged campaign. We understand there are a number of off-ramps worked into this, but the bottom line here is that both the Trump administration and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government are approaching this war with Iran through a peace through strength initiative. They are trying to pressure the Iranian regime by not only taking out their leadership, but depleting their ballistic missile stockpile and basically forcing them eventually back to the negotiating table, understanding that this is the largest military operation against the Iranian regime in history. Harris?
Trey Yingst, thank you for the late-breaking notes on that. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.